40 rows 30 to 40. Rows 30.
If you would have to choose one city where you would like to travel today, which city would be? That's right, New York, the city that never sleeps. There's no other city on the planet with an energy that can compete with New York. The fast pace, the buzzing traffic, the hustle and bustle of the people, the 24-hour life, and the creative spirit makes New York City one of the most vibrant places in the world. New York City goes by many names such as City That Never Sleeps and the less humble center of the universe. But the Big Apple is the most common of all. There are many rumors about the history of the nickname. Did the city used to be filled with apple orchards? Does the name originate with a brothel madam named Eve? Well, we're about to find out in just a few moments. Hopefully very soon we'll be able to take a vacation in peace and comfort. And while we're on a vacation into a popular city like New York, we find ourselves taking selfies, going to Broadway, visiting museums and landmarks. But there's something about a city that you might never heard about. And today we're learning 10 amazing facts about New York City. Number 1. The first European settlers in New York City were Dutch. Until 1664, the city was known as New Amsterdam. That changed when the city was gifted to the Duke of York on his 18th birthday. He then decided to rename the city to New York, which has stuck around ever since. Number 2. The term the Big Apple originally referred to horse racing. The city got its most popular nickname from a local newspaper's horse racing column in the 1920s. Prior to the city's adoption of the nickname, the phrase Big Apple was used to describe a big money prize at important horse races held around the city. Number 3. Until the 1920s, everyone moved apartments on the same day. That's right. From colonial times throughout the beginning of the 20th century, May 1st was moving day in New York City. And nearly everyone who needed to move apartments did so on that day. The custom caused chaos and traffic jams as the streets became clogged with horse-drawn moving vans and furniture. Fortunately, this odd practice began to die down in the 1920s. And of course, modern New Yorkers can move whenever they want. Number 4. More than 800 languages are being spoken in New York. Considering the fact that 37% of the New York City population comes from another country, you might not be surprised that there are a lot of languages being spoken. Some experts claim that there are more than 800 languages spoken in the city. And some others say it's just a little over 200 different languages. But nonetheless, there's a lot of languages. One of the many interesting facts about New York, it's such a diverse and multicultural city that you'll hear some of the world's most spoken languages, as well as lesser spoken ones. Number 5. Brooklyn Bridge is older than Tower Bridge in London. The Brooklyn Bridge is one of the most iconic bridges in the world, and so is the Tower Bridge in London. But the New York City Bridge can flaunt by being 11 years older. The Brooklyn Bridge needed a little bribery to get started. In its initial conception, the Brooklyn Bridge had an honorable goal, providing safe passage across the rough and frigid East River for Brooklyn residents who worked in Manhattan. In the 1850s, Prussian-born engineer John Augustus Roebling dreamed of a suspension bridge that would make the commute easier for those working-class New Yorkers. The bridge has gone by several names. The Brooklyn Daily Eagle first referred to the project as the Brooklyn Bridge in 1867, but in its early days, it was still referred as the Great East River Bridge, as well as the Great East River Suspension Bridge. At its 1883 dedication, it took on the clunky official name of New York and Brooklyn Bridge. Brooklyn wouldn't become a part of New York until 1898. Brooklyn's civic pride led to the name officially changed to the Brooklyn Bridge in 1915. Number 6. Every time I've been in Times Square, I found myself taking hundreds of pictures, but never knew that Times Square is named after the popular newspaper, the New York Times. Before the New York Times moved to Times Square, this place was known as Longacre Square. One of the many interesting facts about New York that you probably didn't know before we told you about it. And if you want to hear more amazing facts about the cities around the world, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified when new episodes are being uploaded. Number 7. Washington, D.C. wasn't the first capital of United States, but New York City. In 1785, the Assembly of the Congress of the Confederation made New York City the national capital shortly after the war. New York was the last capital of the United States under the Articles of Confederation and the first capital under the Constitution of the United States. New York City, as the U.S. capital, hosted several events of national scope in 1789. The first president of the United States, George Washington, was inaugurated in New York. The first United States Congress and the Supreme Court of the United States each assembled for the first time, and the United States Bill of Rights was drafted all at the Federal Hall on Wall Street. Number 8. The Empire State Building, one of the landmarks that resembles with the city of New York, its upper tower was originally designed as a mooring mast for Zeppelins. By far, the most unusual aspect of the Empire State Building's design concerned its 200-foot tower. Convinced that transatlantic airship travel was the wave of the future, the building owner originally constructed the mast as a docking port for lighter-than-air ships. The scheme called for the airships to maneuver alongside the building and tether themselves to a winching apparatus. Passengers would then exit via an open-air gangplank, check in a custom office, and make their way on the streets of Manhattan in a mere 7 minutes. Despite early enthusiasm for the project, the high wind near the building's rooftop proved all but impossible for pilots to navigate. The closest thing to a landing came in September of 1931, when a small dirigible tethered itself to the spire for a few minutes. 2 weeks later, a Goodyear blimp dropped a stack of newspapers on a rooftop as part of a publicity stunt, but the airship plan was abandoned shortly thereafter. Number 9. Cowboys used to patrol 10th Avenue in Manhattan. Most of us associate cowboys with the Wild West, but not the west side of Manhattan. From 1850 to 1941, New York's 10th Avenue had its own special team of cowboys. Responsible for wrangling people rather than cows, the West Side Cowboys would ride on horseback ahead of the freight trains that ran down the middle of the street, warning people to get out of the way. Number 10. The New York City cab initially was not yellow, but red and green. The yellow cab is one of the most recognizable symbols of New York City, but the first gasoline-powered cab company, founded in 1907, actually used red and green cars. In fact, yellow cabs were used in a number of other cities throughout the United States before New York adopted the color in 1912. Well, next time you will travel to New York, you'll know more than anyone else about the city. Leave us a comment below which is your favorite landmark in New York City. Hit the like button, subscribe our channel and press the bell. We'll upload 2 episodes per week. Until then, keep safe.